Podcast. I'm Andrew Glessner. With me, as always, is Wes Millott.
Hey.
And due to a scheduling conflict, in studio we've got our good buddy, Producer Sam.
Producer Sam is our guest tonight.
Hello, everybody.
I wonder if I'm screaming into this mic.
I think you're always screaming without knowing it.
I am.
Just a screaming guy. You gotta be smart, like my smart voice.
Yeah, so originally we were supposed to have Zach Salazar on tonight to discuss basically the difference between making fan films versus original short films, but due to a last scheduling conflict, we had to reschedule that podcast. So we didn't really want to take. We had this kind of scheduled, so we didn't want to waste our time since we already had it booked out. So we're just going to live anyway and talk about some of the recent releases such as Mortal Kombat, Godzilla versus King Kong, theatrical versus streaming, and maybe some Oscar stuff since the Oscars just happened and all that.
Did it? Because I don't think anybody watched.
No one watched.
I mean, I'll be honest. I don't know the last time I sat down and watched the Oscars in their entirety.
Apparently, we have a bad echo.
Ooh, I wonder who that's coming from.
And it's fixed, apparently.
Look at that. I touch my head once and it's done. I'm a miracle worker.
Andrew with the magic. Magic.
Don't call me the Magic Man for nothing. In fact, they don't call me the Magic Man at all.
So, like naked without the YouTube screen up on my computer? Like
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I barely pay attention to what those animals in the comment section say anyway. So
they are animals.
Just ruthless, brutal. Look at Danny Hawks talking about pants. I'm not wearing these pants.
And I apologize about the microphone being in the shot. Someone has my boom holder.
Mike.
You'd think it's Mike, but it's probably not.
You'd think it's Mike, but it's not Mike. As always, if you have any questions or comments for us, leave them in the chat. We'll address them. But, yeah, we're going to talk about the recent movies that we've watched, which, Andrew, you said that you watched Godzilla vs. Kong, right?
Yes, I saw both Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla vs. Kong and Godzilla. I watched both of them in Mortal Kombat, yeah, which... Okay. I think you guys saw Mortal Kombat. If you didn't, just pretend that every fight between Sub-Zero and Scorpion was actually a gorilla and a lizard, and you've seen Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay. Wow. Talk about it too.
I mean, so there you go. Yeah, it's been fun. Those are movies that when I saw them like being released, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna be like uber excited about them, because you kind of know what you're going to get. At the same time, I'm going to watch them. You know what I mean? Like, why not?
Yeah. I wasn't super excited for Godzilla versus Kong, mainly because, like, the first, like, Godzilla reboot was somewhat disappointing. I liked it, but it was somewhat disappointed. Mostly with like the Bryan Cranston thing, because like he was built up to be such a huge character, and then like in the first 15 minutes
did he die?
But
is that what happened?
Oh yeah, I forgot you haven't seen it.
What, did Bryan Cranston die?
Wow. Fuck. Well, now I don't have to see it.
They built him up to be the main character of the movie, and they kill him off in the first 15 minutes.
Well, I mean, he had a lot of shine on him at that moment, so obviously, like, hey, listen, we got Cranston in this fucking movie, so this one's gonna smoke a bunch of toilet meth and then go ham.
Godzilla King of Monsters was okay, and then so you know, I still want to see Godzilla vs. Kong, but I want to see it in the movie theater. I don't really want to watch it at home. But Mortal Kombat was one where I heard that they were rebooting it, and I was like, God, this is gonna suck. And then I saw the trailer, and I was like, okay. So I was actually pretty excited to go watch it, and I actually went to the theater to see it last week in IMAX, which is basically a complete 180 from how both of you watched it.
Yeah, I watched it at the.
Yep. You know,
the home box office.
I recently upgraded my TV. So within the past year to not a sponsor. I mean, LG, you could sponsor us if you want to, but the LG OLED C9 series.
Ooh.
Oof, the darks on that thing are dark, and it looks amazing, and it's I can watch it on my couch. I don't have to go smell people's farts for 2 hours, and sometimes that's just more enjoyable. Sometimes I want to get a nice waft of all that stuff, but for Mortal
you can
Kombat,
just fart in your own mouth.
Yeah, I was gonna say I rip them right on the couch. It's just me. I have a blanket. I Dutch oven myself. It really just adds to the experience for me. Although you do miss the smell of popcorn, butter, and butt. Together. Yep. Although if we're being honest, real quick, this is a complete tangent, but my favorite thing to do in the movie theater is just get you some cookie dough bites and get you some popcorn. The sweet and the salty together is just amazeballs.
I remember I was judging you whenever you first told me about that, and then I tried it, and it's addicting. It really is.
I'm Milk Duds, man, all the way.
Okay, you're allowed to be wrong. It's fine.
Peanut M&Ms, or actually, my favorite M&Ms are the pretzel M&Ms.
Oh, they're good. Actually, this is perfect time.
I'm a big fan of those.
Everybody in the comments, what's your favorite thing to get at the movies? What's your favorite movie snack?
It's a good question.
When you go to the lobby.
That is nightmare fuel, and I hate thinking about it.
There you go.
Those 50s animations always get me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's just that weird bygone era where everything seemed like it was just lovely, and it's like,
Yep.
Did you ever watch the Aqua Teen Hunger Force Mecha Colon Blow movie?
No, I haven't.
They do a really good take on the refreshment songs, they're the traditional 50s people are singing, and there's just a death metal Juju Bee and Candy Bar Waiting, and then they just rip in this thrash metal song. It is pretty amazing.
That show is absolutely ridiculous.
It is.
So Mike says in the chat, hashtag hold for AMC, hashtag AMC 100K. I fingers crossed, Mike. I am holding some of that AMC too. Maybe we can fund a movie with that thing, but it's not looking good.
Baby boy, I have
lost
diamond
a lot
hands
today
for
in
Doge
stock.
right now. That's it. And I am fucking crushing with this fake currency.
It's ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
It's hilarious, but
I'm gonna ride it to fucking Mars. I really am. I'm because I was telling Sam before we got on. I bought it for $112. I have 11. Last time I checked, it was almost $1,100. It's just blowing up right now. I'm not getting rid of it.
You've made $1,000 off a complete joke. Some guy made it as a joke.
Cryptocurrency, yeah, 100%.
Incredible.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Well,
yep.
I was just about to say. So, how do we want to get started on Mortal Kombat? Because we actually did see Mortal Kombat.
We did.
So
we did.
You know what? First of all, what did you think of the whole plot of the movie? Do either one of you want to go through that?
So, should we go? How should I say this? The plot of the movie, it was whatever to me.
Yeah.
That's not why I went to see it, and I didn't expect much from the plot, and it was pretty flimsy at best. But
yeah, but also to be fair,
at the same time, I got what I went to the theater for.
It did follow a pretty close representation of the plot of the first game, which was also flimsy at best. It's oh yeah, it's a great tournament where these people just fight each other to the death and Mortal Kombat. That's all it was. It's that's the whole reason for the game. That's really the whole reason. This is the only reason you need the movie.
So I mean,
yeah,
I think it's kind of funny that everybody. I feel like there's two camps of people right now.
Sure.
There's yeah, I saw Mortal Kombat. Hey, the plot sucked. I hate the movie. And then there's, why the fuck are you watching it for the plot? I'm watching it for seeing people's intestines getting ripped out, and pretty much that. Um, so I for the people that like are watching it for the plot, let's play into their mentality. What could do it for you to be like, okay, all right, Mortal Kombat, pretty solid story here.
Yeah, God, I'm just trying to think of the cohesion you would need of a story about a group of humans who can shoot fireballs and shit that are fighting in a combat against like ultra-dimensional beings with forearms and reptile skin. Like, at what point? Yeah, no, I'm with you. Like, at what point you're like, okay, this is a sound, logical story point for me?
Because like there's the Marvel universe or DC, people with powers for inexplicable reasons a lot of the time, and we just all kind of accept it. Oh, okay, this motherfucker got bit by a spider, Spider-Man. This guy, he came from another planet, and also, if you put a rock next to him, he's not going to do so great. Believable. So,
right.
Like we have all these things that are just like just absolute pop culture phenomenons. And then we have Mortal Kombat, where it's like, yeah, the people have these abilities, and it's for this reason, to do this thing, and then we're all just like, no, fuck that. Doesn't make sense.
I do find it funny how it's like there's so much suspension for disbelief in all these other movies, but then it's this one. It's like, oh no.
This isn't realistic. Yeah, it's like, what? Well, no. It's
real
not
quick, just want to say hi to Eric. Hey, Eric, thanks for joining us tonight. Caboose Juice says theaters will have to put on stuff for audiences to shout at the screen or concerts. Real quick, we did ask that question: which is your go-to snack at the movie theater? So if you're just now joining us, let us know in the comments below what your favorite snack is. Mike says large popcorn and Coke.
Yep, good call.
Hugh says pretzel bites with cheese. Good one. And Danny says I'm the only one who buys snow caps, and I don't care.
Keeping them in business, buddy boy. That's fine.
You call
never
them
had
caps?
snow caps.
Or, okay, you call them snow caps, but have you also called them nonpareils? Because that's how I know them. And
I mean, I think the brand is snow caps. Is that?
Yeah.
Are they the same thing?
I think they
nonpareils. Okay.
Unless
I thought nonpareils were the ones that were like fruity flavored too, or they were like different colored, like green and pink and shit. Maybe I'm way off base.
Just like
I don't
the
know.
50s name for snow caps.
Probably.
My go-to is get a Coke.
Yep.
And then I don't really get too many snacks. I usually just get popcorn. But if I really want a snack, I'll just get like M&Ms or pretzel bites too, or nachos. It really just depends on what I'm in the mood for, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's
because I'm all over.
Brooke keeps wanting to go to like these theaters that are like, oh yeah, they serve beer and gourmet grilled cheese. I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. Eat all that and then fall asleep 40 minutes into the movie.
Yes.
Caboose says no snacks, maybe beer if the film is short enough.
Yeah,
that's fair,
dude.
Yeah, so, I see where he's going. I'm with him.
2.5. If you watch the Irishman and have a beer, you're probably gonna fall asleep.
Well, you just have to have more beer than a shot of whiskey. Be an Irishman while watching it, and I think it'll keep you going, and you'll probably want to fight somebody.
Yep. Eric brought up a really good point here. Layered butter popcorn, always. Whenever we go anywhere, we all and they butter it for you. We always ask them to layer the butter because otherwise it all just gets on top.
So when they do that, can you see their face just turn to hit you, or do you just?
It's not. I mean, I worked at a movie theater, and it's not that big of a deal.
Oh, okay. It sounds. I mean, granted, I guess you just put like a scoop in butter, a scoop more butter to like maybe finish it off. But it sounds like one of those things they'd be like, "Can I get that layered?" I'm like, "Fuck off!" What? Absolutely.
It really depends, I guess, on the location of the butter machine in relation to where you're scooping the popcorn. Because if it's like a walk, yeah, I can see that getting annoying.
That's me moving around the butter or the tub of popcorn, the butter thing.
Trying to shake it.
But yeah,
that doesn't look good.
Just stroking up.
Andrew had me dying before we even came on the stream. He was gonna do his introduction. Can you do the voice for them?
Yeah, maybe I can do that voice. It's only for a period of time before my voice just gets so scratchy though, and I can't do it no more. It starts to hurt.
Danny says in the chat, I just got fatter because you guys were talking about snacks. Thanks, guys.
My bad, Danny. I didn't mean to.
Apologies.
All right, so I think we can all agree that for no real logical reason, there can be no acceptable plot for Mortal Kombat to make it a great movie. So
yeah.
And that's fine, honestly, for that type of movie.
Well, and there are movies that I go to the theater and I'm like, I expect to, follow a story-driven narrative that honestly, will have me thinking about it for days and honestly, really affect me emotionally. And I'll get upset if those don't. That's not what I'm going to watch when I'm watching Mortal Kombat.
So tonight we're going to be talking about, after we're finished our Mortal Kombat discussion, movie theaters versus streaming services and things premiering on either or. What do you prefer? What are the pros and cons? So that's a good point, and I want to bring that back up when we start that discussion, because I think that actually is something that can really be expanded upon.
Yeah, I'll keep it. Okay. I'll keep it in the crawl until we're ready.
Yeah. So,
but I was gonna just bring up something totally off topic, so I'm not gonna go ahead.
Well, it's.
Go ahead, Andrew.
But I was just gonna say but I think going into it with the right frame of mind, I think it was an enjoyable film. It was fun. I liked all the little pieces of meta that were in there, and I'm not talking about the Kung Lao flawless, because that was just, you knew that was coming. But I liked when they were talking about what's his face, taking the belt from the champ. The guy he took it from, his name was Ed Tobias, which is a quick little wink to the creators of Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon and John Tobias. Excuse me. And then it just fucking killed me when Liu Kang just kept sweeping Kano, and he's like, "Is this the only move you know how to do?" We've all been there, and how frustrating that is.
Dude, I'm awful. I'm a 100% button masher when it comes to Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Injustice, all of it. I'm fucking awful.
I haven't played them in a long time.
I gotta say, the one thing with me is there was a point in time where, when I say this, I mean this literally, I lived in a pool hall when I was a kid, and I would get off school, and my mom's boyfriend at the time would just unlock part of the Mortal Kombat cabinet so I could just sit in front of it and play all day. So I would play everybody who came in. It was Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, and I got so good that I was beating everybody. And I was 9 years old. And kids would come in with their move sheets, and I was just whooping that ass. And it's the thing that really upset me about this movie. My go-to character was Cabal. I loved Cabal. Cabal was shit. He was dope. And I feel like they wasted him. Wasted opportunity with him. Granted, he's not really a standout character as far as one I think you can do a whole lot with. So that's fair. But at the same time, it hurt my childhood to see him so underutilized as a bad guy.
What did you think about Sub-Zero? Because I feel like for most people, that's the person. You were a kid, Sub-Zero was the shit. I always dressed up as Sub-Zero, for at least a few years during Halloween. Oh, 100%.
You did.
Yeah.
And then, you come to find out, oh, well, he's just a possessed ninja who died. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I knew the dynamic between Sub-Zero and Liu Kang was the Lin Kuei and the Shu Ryu. It never really seemed specified in the games who was the good or the bad guy, and it seemed really strange to me to peg Scorpion as the good guy and Sub-Zero as the bad guy. I think within the story they wrote, it worked. I'm not saying that, but at the same, it just, watching it felt a little unnatural, because I think if you were to peg one of them as a good or a bad guy, it would be the opposite.
Yeah, I agree with that. Real quick in the chat, Eric said he worked at a theater and learned it there, but the theaters near him don't do it for you. They don't do it for you. So he leaves the line. Oh, gotcha. So he has to leave the line with the popcorn half full, butter it himself, then take it back.
You know what? That's absolutely fair. I salute those people.
Who has a half hour before the movie to do that?
You know what you do? Just ask them for an extra bucket, and then you can dump some in, spray it, dump some in, spray it, dump some in, then just slap it in. You got 2 buckets. And you can split the popcorn easier that way too, because I know there are awkward battle lines. If I let my girlfriend have the popcorn bucket, she eats all of it. That's not true. She doesn't eat a whole lot of popcorn. I eat all of it, and I'll save her any.
So,
Hugh says Andrew's video and audio doesn't match. So you're just out of sync, apparently. Danny says, coming of age story. Liu Kang is trying to lose his virginity, but in the process learns what it's like to make friends. I'd watch it.
Would watch.
Caboose says, I think technology is making the choice for people. You'd have to hold movies in the theaters for 12 months to encourage a theater culture. France has a rule on keeping movies in theaters. I mean, does the actual country is that basically a law there, or because I know that they have agreements with the studios and the theaters, but it's in the U.S. here. But it's basically each studio, it's kind of up to them to negotiate their own terms. So it's not just a wide, a one-size-fits-all thing.
Yeah, I think I was looking earlier today. I was doing a little bit of research. I think most theaters prefer to have a 90-day preference.
90 days, yep.
And we can get into that later. So I kind of covered a little bit more of my thoughts on Mortal Kombat. What did you guys like? A little more in depth.
I shouldn't say the plot was flimsy. It was just it
was as solid as it needed to be.
Yeah. It's exactly. I didn't expect anything more than what I was getting. I did expect a tournament, which there is no tournament in the movie. And there were a couple other things where it was just I won't get into those because they're kind of spoilerish. Where I thought that it was kind of poorly done, but overall, I didn't go for that stuff. I went to see fighting and Sub-Zero and Scorpion, and I got all that stuff. So I say if I got what I went there for, then it's a good movie, in my opinion.
It fulfilled its goal. I think it's what it was made for. Sam, what do you think? Did you just hate it?
I actually loved it because it was just it is what it was, man. It was just a very cool action movie, and it gave a new story to an old franchise, and I think they didn't waste every character in the movie. They left themselves open in a pretty damn good spot to do another movie, if not a few more. Yeah, man, I think it was. I know you're kind of hurt about Cabal, but I think that aside, I was pretty confused about like Sub-Zero and Scorpion because it just didn't see that part was like all right, like that was a choice there, but it kind of worked. But aside from that, man, yeah, it kept the pacing was good. I never felt bored.
No, yeah, I didn't either.
During the movie. And not one time was I like, all right, like let's just keep going here. Let's get through this, So I enjoyed it.
That's fair. And it I know you guys didn't see it yet. It was pretty similar with Godzilla vs Kong. You're like, I signed up to watch a lizard fight a monkey, and that's exactly what I got. With some shitty flimsy plot points stuck in between that really were immaterial to what I was there for. Now there were some points there where I got a little bored. I think there was a little bit. Yeah, I think there's a little more setup than there really needed to be.
Is it more of like I saw a lot of people complaining about the human story. It's funny because like you hear people complaining about like they don't want story in Godzilla vs Kong, right? But then they complain about the story of Mortal Kombat. When I don't know, Mortal Kombat is just mostly fighting.
We're a screwed up bunch. I don't think any of us really know what we want, but
Hugh asks what plot in regards to Mortal Kombat.
That's fair.
Danny also says, why isn't Andrew growing up in a pool hall, not a movie?
I mean, we can do that. Pool hall juniors.
Eric says he gets looks whenever he leaves and comes back to the line. They should have been prepared.
Yeah. That's what happens. They won't do it, you got to do it.
Yep.
And they have to deal with it. Before they charge you for each squirt of popcorn they put on.
Squirt of popcorn.
Squirt of popcorn. Popcorn. Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Yeah, and that's the reason that obviously we're focusing on Mortal Kombat and Godzilla is because these are two recent of the most newest examples of these big blockbuster films that you would expect to just go and make some really good money in the box office. That by the way, they're released on home the same day.
So that was kind of our whole kind of theme for this episode since Mortal Kombat just came out and its day and date streaming and box office is the theatrical experience as we knew it dead?
Well, I don't think it's dead. And here's pretty much my overarching thought. Like when you would write going all the way back to the writing process. You write a movie, and it's this perfect thing that you can fit into like an hour and a half, or something short and sweet that introduces you to a character or a few, tells a story start to finish, and bam, that satisfies whoever is watching it.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like different stories and different genres of film got shoehorned into that format because there wasn't anything else to accommodate it. So you go to see like an action movie and you're not going for the story, you're going for the spectacle. You're going to see the effects and the choreography, like all that stuff. And but traditionally people are looking for story in a film, so then you have naturally people that are disappointed coming out of that. They're like, it just didn't quite do it for me. Whereas I think now that we're able to premiere movies on these streaming services, people would be like, okay, I would just watch Mortal Kombat on my couch, and I didn't have to go out. And just like these little factors, like I didn't have to go out. It wasn't like a theatrical thing that already puts it in like a whole other bubble of thought for people, that you're not going to judge it as harshly as you would if you went to go to a theater, you know? And I just think that maybe with all of these streaming platforms premiering movies, maybe we'll start to see the return of like non-franchise like films, you know, like people telling stories, and it's just not like, oh, what are they going to do next? You know, not like the MCU model, or how many, you know, 2, 3, 4 can we get out of this? You know, it's just going to be the story, and if it's something that can cross over to both, you know, there definitely is a market for it. Because I mean, let's face it, if it's a good enough movie, not to say like action movies can't have great stories, because they definitely can. So maybe it's a great opportunity for companies to, you know, do what they're doing right now: premiere in theater and premiere on the streaming service. People like the movie enough. I mean, health things aside, I think they're going to go to the movie. You know, like, and then it just gives them an excuse to get out and all this other great stuff. But yeah, I don't think theatrical experiences are dead, but I think that because of these new mediums and the capabilities, stories are going to change, and what we see going into theaters inherently is going to change.
It's evolving.
Yeah, well, I think that's a fair point too, because like kind of to your point, you know, it's to think that like there are people who went to see Love Actually in the theaters. Like, had you had the choice,
I just watched that one at home.
Well, yeah, sit at home and watch that on Netflix. Yeah, obviously you're going there. But yeah, like the spectacle, the event of seeing a big blockbuster movie is half the fun. Yeah, Love Actually, explosions. But yeah, and I think it's important though too. These two particular titles we pulled to talk about as an example, you know, Godzilla vs. Kong and then Mortal Kombat. They're both owned by Warner Media. They both launched to their very particular streaming service that they're trying to get eyeballs on.
And also, so it's worth noting their deal. So it's on the platform for 30 days, and then it's taken off the platform where it's just a strict theatrical window after those 30 days. And then I don't know exactly what the theatrical window is, but then it goes back to like video on demand where you pay like $20 to rent it.
Sure. Well, and then the one kind of elephant in the room we've been ignoring with this conversation too is like, you know, a lot of this is probably happening, because of COVID.
Right.
You know, like, there's a global pandemic that has shut down movie theaters for a fucking year.
I'm kind of curious to see like basically kind of how many movies kind of stick to their release dates going forward, or is stuff going to keep getting pushed? But LA finally opened up. A couple of my friends that live in LA just finally went to see Mortal Kombat in the theaters, and then New York also is opening up. So like things are starting to look up for the theatrical industry, and that's a good thing. And I do think that we will see kind of like a boom whenever a lot of people feel safe to go out and there's actually new content in the movies to watch that is not on streaming services.
Yeah, I think the closer we creep back to the old normal, I think the more telling will be if like, if things are still going to be released theatrically. I think certain streaming partners like HBO Max are probably going to stick if that system's working for them with Warner.
I don't know about that.
Well, and that's what I was saying.
Because Warner Brothers already said that they're not committing to releasing their 2022 schedule with the same strategy. And I think they're starting to see, because Godzilla vs. Kong, it beat the second Godzilla movie, the United States gross, theatrically. And it was streaming simultaneously.
Yeah.
So they're kind of seeing like, oh shit, well, how much money did we just leave on the table doing it this way?
That's a good and the question too, that you have to wonder about is, did they leave any money? Like the people who stayed home and watched it, would they have gone and watched that in the theaters? Like I know,
yeah, that's a good question too.
For me personally, I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I watched Godzilla vs. Kong because I was home Saturday night. I had nothing to do, and it was on TV.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah.
Yep, I definitely would not have. They're totally movies I would just watch if I had the subscription, but definitely wouldn't go out to theaters to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even thinking back to just Blockbuster days, you know what I mean? How many movies did you're like, I'll just wait until it comes out on video.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't go out and see everything in theaters. You just don't.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
And
I do.
And I guess you have to think about it too, I don't know, how many people are now subscribing to these services too, or will unsubscribe if they stop premiering these on the streaming services. Like a lot of people with that mentality that I wouldn't see it in theaters, but I'll see it if it's streaming.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, and looking at it like that too, it's like, yeah, you might not have got their $12 at the cinema, but you got their $15 a month right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see us getting any definitive or them getting any definitive answers. They'd probably have to do this for a few years to get some solid numbers with people back in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think if they stop premiering movies simultaneously, theaters and streaming services, I guess prematurely, that would be before people are able to go back in theaters. They're just not going to get the numbers that they're looking for, and we'll never know.
Yeah.
You know, everything has to go back to normal, and they have to keep doing what they're doing now for them to find what business model actually works and what people really want. Because now people they don't have a choice really. You know, you go to a theater, maybe if I'm vaccinated, or if you feel differently, but yeah, I don't think there's going to be any answers soon.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Eric says Halloween Kills was pushed to October of this year. It should have been in theaters in 2020. Yeah, I'm. That's another one. I don't know. I guess we're gonna see how the summer goes, and if summer movies stick, and if they do well. But I would assume if summer movies start pulling out or they're not doing well, you're gonna see some panic from the studios, and they're gonna start pushing stuff. So
yeah. Well, and in fairness too, if you're gonna pull a Halloween movie, you have to schedule it for October.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you have a choice. You can't be coming this May, Michael Myers. This year, Halloween comes early.
It's gonna be
and
May.
We're all disappointed.
Danny says Mortal Kombat Legends Scorpion's Revenge is a pretty solid animated movie. Haven't seen the latest live action film. And he also said movies will be back once dating life returns to normal. That's a good point too.
Oh yeah, I absolutely. And that's the thing too, is usually when you go to watch a Love Actually, it's when you're taking a gal out, so I think we'll see some slip back to normalcy. I think what you're going to see right now is the diehard cinema folk who are going out to theaters right now.
Yeah.
I would go out, yes. And it's me, it's just depending upon the film playing. I might go out.
Dude, I would go to that AMC by you all the time because it's tickets are $5.
Oh, yeah. And it's the shittiest theater. It really is. It hasn't been updated ever. But almost every time Wes and I, if he's home for Christmas, we'll usually go watch a movie on Christmas, once we're all done with all of our family, just because it's a nice way to unwind. And they're already there. So, but we went and saw Knives Out, I think, last week we saw. Yeah, and
it was the year before the pandemic.
Yeah, and it was just nice. Yeah, it's not really kept up but it's like $6 to get in.
We saw, I forget what we were home for, but we went and saw that movie Freaky with Vince Vaughn at the AMC there, which is a fun movie. I recommend it. Neither of you have seen it. It's basically Freaky Friday, the setup of Freaky Friday, but
it's a serial killer.
Teen switches bodies with a serial killer.
And then we get to spend 90 minutes watching Vince Vaughn act like a high school girl.
Yep. It's pretty entertaining.
I can see that.
What else? I guess, and then whenever the theaters tried to open back up last, I think it was September, with Tenet, I went and saw Tenet, and we all know how that performed.
You barely heard it, huh? You saw it.
Which I will give Warner Brothers and I don't really know how much Christopher Nolan. You heard a lot about like Christopher Nolan was really pushing for it and stuff, but I don't know like if he was really pushing for it or if that was just kind of the narrative the media was creating. But I give them credit for trying, and it didn't go well for them, and that's why that caused a lot of panic, obviously. But Godzilla vs. Kong opened to $31 million on its opening weekend while streaming simultaneously. And Tenet opened to like, I think 10 million. Which normally Christopher Nolan movies open to like 55 million in a weekend.
Yeah.
Unless it's The Dark Knight, obviously. Then you're talking 200 million.
Because I'm Batman.
There it is.
Well, that one's a little easier.
It's not as hard. There we go.
Why am I talking like this?
Everything. Can we trust?
Well, what do you all think in the comments? Do you want to see some change in the theater format? Do you want movies to premiere simultaneously in theaters as well as streaming services? Are you really liking the streaming services premiere? And if so, would it only be for like certain movies? Let us know what you think.
Yeah, and it's I like having the option. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
At the same time, I don't want to have the option if it means one or the other is going to die. Like I certainly don't want to see the death of theater.
Yeah. No.
As budding filmmakers, or not budding, we make films. As filmmakers ourselves, I like the idea that hey, we can get our movies in the theaters. At the same time, too, like the spot we're at, it's nice to if we just kind of settle for a streaming service or video on demand, that hey, we're getting eyeballs on our stuff. So it's like there's literally, at least from even the indie standpoint, there's benefit to both sides for us too. So I want both to succeed. I don't want it to be at the detriment of the other, but I like you were saying earlier, I hope they get the data, they see which one, how they can make both work in a way that makes sense for both. I'm a fan.
I also see the possibility for like indie filmmakers to get more of a presence in theaters if large studios start taking advantage of these like long form narratives. Like instead of making a 2-hour movie, turning it into like a 6-hour miniseries, which honestly, that's like, in my opinion, the best way to tell a story. If you really just want to draw it out and expand upon just something, there's something to be said for keeping it short and sweet to an hour and a half. But
or 3.5 if you're Martin Scorsese.
Well, yeah, I think it depends on the story you're trying to tell.
Exactly.
Some of them, taking 6 hours to tell it and breaking it up into 2 3-part or 3 2-parters. Nothing wrong with that. But I think the options are there.
Yeah, you're just free. Like if you, especially for the action stuff, you take them and you make them a little bit longer, and then that frees up some theater space for these other stories to be told in the theaters. So I don't know.
Got some interesting comments here. Eric says, society right now is all about what is convenient, especially those with no background in filmmaking. They could care less about a cinematic experience when they can just watch it via their iPhone, which is a very good point. It's all about convenience for a lot of people. Caboose says, movies are dead, let alone theaters. Indie market is crowded, returns are low, gear is cheap, expertise isn't, and advertising is as expensive as ever. Maybe the next generation will figure it all out. And we're kind of figuring that out, aren't we, Andrew? We're kind of like planning our next steps, and we've been talking about budgets and looking at returns and stuff, and we kind of like have seen how low returns are. And you're right, the indie market is super crowded right now.
Yeah.
And he said theaters are only a symptom of the issue, which, again, very true.
That's a fair point.
Danny says, everything being on demand or delivered to your door is why WALL-E will become the most accurate post-apocalyptic film. So true. And Eric
he's an inside man. He knows what he's talking about with delivery stuff. So he's a dasher. He knows what's up.
Eric says, I'm sure we all want theaters to go back to the way they were, but as long as streaming and other services make it easier and cheaper for customers, it's a tough battle.
Yep.
And then Hugh says, in response to Sam's comment, or 4 hours like Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Which was fantastic.
I have no desire to see it, but I didn't see the original Justice League either. I tapped out after Batman v Superman.
You should never watch the initial release of Justice League. Just go right for the Snyder cut.
Maybe I'll do the TV way, just watch 1 hour at a time. It's 4 hours and 20 minutes, right?
Yeah, broken up into 6 chapters. It really, I mean, for me, it didn't feel like 4 hours. It was just it took you from one to the next. The pacing was great, in my opinion. But I'm also a fan of DC stuff. So
sure. Well, that was right before you said it was 4 hours and 20 minutes. I was about to say, it sounds like maybe you just gotta get really high for and sit down and watch. And I think that stands even more so now.
Danny says, I thought Andrew was saying he's an inside man because I'm fat. Good recovery.
That doesn't even make any sense, Danny. Inside of what?
But yeah, I don't think theatrical is dead. It's just kind of evolving as it needs to right now. And I think that the market will change, definitely. I think that if the streaming day and date thing sticks, you're going to see a lot more event films taking up the theater space, and a lot of your smaller films, your $30-40 million features and below, just go to streaming because they're never going to recoup. Well, actually, I think you'll see a lot of a death basically of those type of movies because they're not going to recoup their money.
Yeah, just those mid-budget movies that aren't going to be blockbusters.
You're not going to see much mid-budget movies because they'll stick to low and high.
Cue all these motherfuckers know how to make movies for next to nothing. Let's go. All right, gentlemen, passing final thoughts, go on anything.
Are you talking to us or the chat?
Yeah, you guys.
I can't wait to get out to a theater. I've been missing IMAX very much.
Yeah, so we saw Mortal Kombat in IMAX, and there were only 2 other people in the entire movie with us.
That's insane.
And I asked the lady at the cash register because I was curious, how busy have you been? She said that I don't even think people know we're open. So I guess they've been pretty dead. But hopefully that changes with, I think F9 is coming out pretty soon, next month or something.
Oh, God damn it.
There's 9 of those movies. Can you believe it?
No, I can't. I can't.
We have the Jigsaw movie coming out. I don't know why I said Jigsaw. Saw.
Oh yeah, that's like Samuel L. Jackson, Chris Rock.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
That's right.
Yeah, that actually seems fun.
And then the end of this month, A Quiet Place 2, which will kind of kick off the summer, I guess. Because that ended up being a pretty big hit.
Yeah, actually, it's fair.
So we have some movies to monitor. Let us know in the chat, and you guys too, what movies you're looking forward to watching next.
Yeah.
I will say this. I stumbled unintentionally onto a little animated film called Mitchell vs. the Machines. The Mitchells vs. the Machines on Netflix last night. I turned it on. That was the first trailer I saw. And I was like, that seems fucking adorable. And I watched it, and guess what? It was. It was a really fun, really funny family. It's a PG movie, so I mean, it's not anything crazy, but I had a good time watching. I think it was a really great animated film on Netflix. Check it out, you guys. Gas it up.
Danny says, it doesn't make any sense. Is just Andrew's way of saying, no, you're not that fat yet. SCP Short Stories. Hi, everybody. Hey, SCP. How you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, let us know in the comments what movie you're looking forward to seeing next. Mine, personally, I'm going to watch the Saw movie because I'm curious, but then besides that, A Quiet Place too, because I really enjoyed A Quiet Place.
Yeah, I'm for sure queuing up Porky's again. So
Porky's, the re-release,
30th anniversary Blu-ray edition.
This motherfucker, what was it?
We're doing that 10 films, 10 days challenge.
10 films, 10 days challenge.
I just put a different screenshot from Porky's every day.
Yeah. Danny says, I'm waiting for the MCU movies. I love them. Hugh says you should watch Invincible.
I've heard good things about Invincible. And Danny,
that, Sam?
The MCU as well.
Yeah, I heard it's like pretty violent, like an animated version of The Boys, basically.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
I think that's on Amazon.
Interested in
Invincible is. I know The Boys are. The Boys
is Invincible. Yeah, Invincible. I will add that to my list. J.K. Simmons, Stephen Yeun, Gillian Jacobs, Mark Hamill, Seth Rogen. I'm intrigued.
That's a hell of a cast, actually.
Yeah.
All right. We'll check that out.
I watched that.
Cool.
Good deal.
Well,
gentlemen,
it's been a fun discussion.
It has. We had fun.
Thank you for having me on, guys.
Absolutely, Producer Sam. Anytime.
Thanks for joining us. Make the best out of a sour situation, I guess.
Oh. Listen, Sam, you're always my lemonade. Don't let him sour.
I'm the sugar in the lemonade.
Well, hold on, wait before we leave.
I'm saying that he's not sour. We're sour, and he helped us.
You know what? That's right.
Okay.
He sweetened us. Okay. While we're talking about that, Sam, real quick, buddy, what's your scooch?
Oh, man. Okay. Dealing with bandwidth issues. How about that? Dealing with bandwidth issues all of the time. So I do live streaming professionally, not on this system. I'm currently learning OBS and other streaming services. I'm used to using a new tech TriCaster, and that does a lot of heavy lifting, but bandwidth is always an issue. So just I probably talk to like, I don't know, 10 to 15 people a day, trying to help them out with their connectivity and all their it's essentially being IT for people every day. That's my scooch. And it's always different every time. You would not believe some of the stuff I come across. So yeah, that's my scooch, helping people literally get non-choppy video. I'm sorry, I can't help out Wes.
Am I really that choppy still?
Because he can't be hardwired. But yeah, that's my scooch.
You scooch so that they may stream. I like it. It's nice.
Maybe I can figure out
get an Ethernet switch.
My friend James is telling me about some things I could do to kind of like hardwire myself in without being like directly into the modem, running like a 50-foot cord. So maybe I'll look into those.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my scooch.
Nice for scooch. Nice. Alrighty.
Scoochies.
All right.
Sir, do you have anything to add to this, Mr. Malott?
To which part?
All of it. Any of it.
Any of it.
Thanks for watching. Real quick, if you are a fan of our channel, we do have a Patreon. You can become a supporter and receive early access to our videos. There's different tiers. Go to the link in the description. You get early access to our videos, and you can get bigger, longer, exclusive behind-the-scenes videos. And there might even be a short film exclusive to Patreon soon. So yeah, check that out in the link, or not in the link, in the description below. Yep. And then also a huge shout out to our partner, Artlist, which if you follow the link below, you can get 2 months free. So plugs.
And guys, we cannot underestimate to you how much we appreciate money.
Not you guys, just money. Andrew has been fired after we're off of this show.
That took a hard left.
No, guys, we appreciate you watching. And if you are in the Ambler area next Wednesday.
Ooh, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
We didn't talk about, there's a little film festival called the First Take Short Series. Thinking Art has a hell of a showing. We have Goodbye, we have Stalked, and then several films that bits and pieces of us have helped produce in some fashion or another. So
I have 2 films showing. Stalked, obviously, which will be making its world premiere that night. And then also I directed a short film called Alicia with Fear Crypt and End Eternal, which is also screening there. And then our director of photography for Stalked, Adam Rebar, I think, has 2 other projects showing. So in total, there's 17 short films, and like there's a circle of us that have like 7 of them or something.
So, yeah, you got Adam.
Cool. I'm excited to see him be safe.
Friend of Thinking Art, this Jess has a spoiler alert showing.
This Jess has a movie showing, spoiler alert. So I'm excited to see all these movies on a big screen and actually get out of the house and see some people. So
if you're in the area, come hang out with us. We'll be noticeable. We will definitely be wearing Thinking Art shirts because we are those people.
We are those people.
All right, guys, we appreciate your time. Until next time, always be scooching.
Yep. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below, and we'll see you next time for another Thinking Art podcast.
Alrighty, that was fun. It's always so interesting to me that we're like, oh man, it's like these topics seem somewhat flimsy.